So this is the College Street.
Yeah, this is the College Street tree right here. What I keep referring to as the College Street tree. That's the Magnolia Street tree, and definitely what you can see right now. Number one, you can see this whole limb section seems to be dying on the College Street tree, or at least it has produced no new leaves, and you don't see any flowers on it at all. And you can look really on the southern and the eastern section of this tree, and you can see a lot more damage. I mean, you see a lot of yellowing of the leaves. It's just the leaves are not fully forming at all, and you can start to see a lot of problems there. Whereas you look on the northern side and the western side of this tree, and you see a lot better development. But when you make comparison, I mean, you look at that Magnolia Street tree, and it just looks, as far as leaf development is concerned, man, it just looks a lot healthier than the College Street tree. And there's something to that. We definitely did find higher concentrations of the herbicide of tebuthiazide in this tree than we found in that one, and it was upwards of well, it was a huge difference. It was about an enormous dose over here, a lot lower dose. So it definitely seems like this one was contaminated a lot more than the Magnolia tree. Absolutely, and you look at the treaty oak, and you definitely saw on the treaty oak that you had partial survival of the treaty oak. So it could be that you actually have one section that totally dies and another section that survives, and then what you do with that becomes another question. What I would actually promote is actually, if you go look online, some of the Biloxi tree sculptures, there's actually a guy who does actually chainsaw sculptures of some things here, and that would be pretty cool if they actually use some of these limb sections to do sculptures of, you know, I mean, there's some, you go look at those Biloxi tree sculptures, and there's dolphins swimming and all kinds of birds and everything, so some unique things could be done.
TWER also kind of signifies the end of campus and the beginning of the city of Auburn. So once you cross over into that intersection and go kind of over the orange concrete can in the middle of the street, you're considered in downtown Auburn.
If you look at that slope and elevation, as you move, everything washes toward the big tree and washes toward this corner right here. So there's potential that if anything kind of moved underneath the surface of the soil, that it actually moved in this direction and actually could be contaminating this tree right here as well. You can look at that one, and that's the same kind right there.
So here we have green, and then we have
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. So there could be some potential like movement and contamination this way, but you know, we still got to wait and see. Everything's a wait and see. I mean, you don't know until it actually dies.
Right.
A lot of times what's going on. So you just, but that does not look good.
As far as the, I guess, detecting the progression or kind of just the overall impact of the pesticide.
Yeah.
Not the pesticide, the herbicide. The herbicide.
Pesticide's fine. Pesticide, it could mean anything. It could be a fungicide, it could be an insecticide, it could be a herbicide. So
I knew that. I was just testing you. Anyway, so we're walking now. Now this tree here, what kind is this?
So this is a water oak.
Okay.
So, and you can, you know, I've always referred to them as water oaks. So, but you can see some of the differences here. Here's a healthy one that we found further down, and here's the one close to the Toomer Oaks right here. You can definitely see a difference there in the. You get this reddening. So these are the main veins right here, and you can see between the main veins you get this reddening that's actually occurring, and they're just not developing properly. And so it definitely looks problematic right now. And initially, you know, it's stayed like this for a couple of weeks, while the other ones you can see down there, they actually are beginning to develop a lot better. So big difference in the health of these leaves.
So right now, what's the I don't know, what's the latest prediction? What's the vibe? Is there hope still in the department, or you know, the task force?
I would say that I'm very hopeful for the Magnolia Street tree. The leaf development, the very fact that we're seeing a lot better leaf development and a lot healthier leaf development, I think it's got its prognosis. It has a lot greater potential, I would say, when it comes through. Difficult to say. It's definitely going to be hard to give these trees up one day if we do have to give them up. I mean, they are a landmark for the university, and you know, you can see the fact that they people who are looking at coming to school here, they bring them up here to look at these trees. So I'll finish answering that in a second. and it would be hard for them to give them up, but you know, it's going to be hard to look at them if you get large section of the trees actually dying as well. It's going to be hard just to sit here and look at just a dead tree in the focal point, one of the focal points of Auburn University and in the town of Auburn itself. So I think, to me, it's going to be a difficult decision, and it's not going to be a decision this come to very easily. So
how long could it drag out? Like if it were, I mean,
for the trees actually to die, or for decisions actually made,
yeah.
It could take 2 years for the trees to actually die, to actually know for sure. And again, that goes back to we're dealing with a massive organism here, so
right.
it's not like it's easy to kill, and it's very difficult to know when it actually has died. And again, limb sections can die, and the whole tree can actually, but the entire tree will not actually be dead. Parts of it could actually survive. So it's, you know, you hate to say this, and I feel like we're just delaying making conclusions on a lot of things, but everything's really in a wait-and-see mode as far as for me and as far as the task force is concerned. I mean, we just have to continue to watch and see what happened. A lot of these limb sections, they potentially could re-leaf. I'm very doubtful on some of these, but potentially they could produce leaves again. But you know, it's a lot of times it's just it's simply wait and see.
Well, so have you heard any talk? You know, if we continue and it extends. You know, like right now, you know, we have keep out, please don't roll. As you know, football, we're in spring practice right now. Yeah. Football's coming around, the first season after a national championship. Has there been any talk about, like, dear God, what do we do? What's our policy going to be come fall?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I guess we could go back to what was done prior to rolling the trees, which they rolled the power lines, and we've got some nice poles out here maybe we can roll, you know.
There we go.
There's other trees around that potentially could be rolled, but my thought is we need to lay off these things as long as possible, and really just you know, walk around them with reverence right now, just because, you know, we really don't need to be doing any more damage to them than what's already being done inside the trees themselves.